is February 24th. Sit down. And what are we going to do today?
Hypothesis.
Say it again.
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis, and that is science, right? So we're going to learn about our hypothesis. So we have some objects here and a tub of water. And we want to find out what sinks and what floats, right? Okay, you want to start with the sponge? Well, wait a minute. We didn't say if we think it'll sink or float. What do you think it'll do? Wait a minute. Do you think it'll float? Layla, what do you think the sponge will do? This one.
This one.
Do you think it will sink or float?
Float.
What do you think, Leah? Do you think this will sink or float, Leah?
Our bees will float. Up or down?
Do you think it will sink or float, Leah?
Up or down?
Okay. All right. What happened to it?
Floated.
It floated, right? Okay, put one mark down for floating. Okay.
Now can I do?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Layla. Let's do this one. The sponge on the stick.
It does.
So it floats. But okay, before you put it in, we have to make our hypothesis. Okay, so we have 2 for float. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute.
Start this one.
Okay, what is this? Sit down. A hippo?
Hippo.
So do we think the hippo will sink or float?
Sink.
Sink? Okay, wait a minute. Tariq, what do you think? The hippo, do you think it will sink or float?
Yeah.
Float or sink? Float?
Sink.
You think sink?
Yeah.
Okay, Leah, do you think it will float or sink?
They drop it in.
Look at, do you think it will float or go to the bottom? Okay, so everybody thinks that the hippo will sink. Okay, put the hippo in. Let's see what happens. It floated. It floated. Okay, so we have another one for float. Okay, so what do we have? A plastic orange. Okay, do we think it will sink or float?
Float.
Float. We have one for float. What do you think, Tariq?
I don't see the giraffe.
Do you think it will sink or float?
Oh, sink.
Sink. Layla, what do you think? Sink or float?
Sink.
2 for sink, 1 for float, and it floated. Okay, let's try this egg right here. Okay?
I want my guess to be in.
Okay, just a minute. What do we think this egg will do? Sink or float?
Float.
Float? Layla, what do you think?
Let's do float.
Leah, what do you think? Float? Javen, what do you think?
I think it'll sink.
Sink? Okay, let's check and see. Put it in.
Float.
It floated. Okay, let's try. Wait a minute. Let's wait. Wait just a second. Let's try this magnet. What? Wait, we'll do that one next.
Mom, I want to try these.
Just a minute.
I
What?
want to try and go out.
Layla, do you think this magnet will sink or float?
Float.
Float?
Yeah.
Tariq, what do you think?
I think it was float.
Leah, what do you think?
No, I think it was sink.
Float? Javen, what do you think?
Sink.
Okay, let's test the magnet. Wait a minute, Layla. Let's test the magnet. Let it go. It floated.
I'm always saying sink because they're heavy items.
Okay. Let's try. Let's try this top. Okay, we have a baby food top. Do we think it'll sink or float?
Float.
Wait a minute, Layla. What do you think, Layla? Sink or float?
Float.
Leah, what do you think? Javen, what do you think? We have a couple here. Try this one. Wait a minute. Yours sunk, but wait, look what happened. Look, yours is upside down. I mean, his is upside down. Wait a minute, don't turn it yet. So, wait a minute, look. If it's upside down, it sink. It floated, right?
No.
Well, you pushed it in. Wait a minute. Wait, those are different. Wait a minute.
It floats. These float.
So, if it was the upside down,
It's the same, Mom.
it's not. Those are different tops. I want to show
If
them.
it's upside, if it's
It's sunk.
It's sunk. No, it's sink.
Yeah, because you put water in it. Okay, so either or. So we have one of each. Okay, let's try. Oh, that water's cold.
Mama, can I try this?
Okay, just no. Keep them together, Tariq. Keep them together. We're gonna do a whole group of them. Wait a minute, Layla. Okay, let's try the cubes. Okay, so no, put them together. Put them together, and then let's do our hypothesis. Do you think this will sink or float? Layla?
Float. What do you think?
Leah, what do you think? Sink or float?
No,
Javen, what do you think?
I think they will sink.
Sink. So we have a set of Unifix cubes. Put them all together. Leave them together and put them in.
It floats.
It floated?
Yeah.
Yep, it floated. So we have another for float. Okay, let's try one cube. Do we think it'll sink or float?
Float.
Float? Okay, let's try it. Put it in. Let's see if it floats or sinks. They float?
They float.
Okay, let's try. Hold on.
Let's try these.
You want to try everything. Do you think they'll sink or float? Okay. Let's try. Hold on, Layla.
But wait, we have to do a hypothesis.
You have to do our hypothesis. So we have things that float. Two objects that float. Let's try this fork. Do we think this fork will float or sink?
Sink.
Sink? Layla, what do you think?
Float.
Float. Leah, what do you think? Float. Javen, what do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, let's try it. It sunk. Look, it sunk, Layla. The fork sunk.
If we do like this, it will. I got it.
Let's try this bottle of glue.
Oh,
Do we
no.
think it'll sink or float?
I'm trying to try
What do you
this.
think? Okay, we'll get that next. What do you think?
Try
What do you think? Do your hypothesis first.
it.
What do you think?
Hey, no,
I think it's dipping.
Floated.
Floated.
Shh. Okay, let's do a hypothesis on this block.
Hey, you know how
On this cube.
Wait, guys. You know
Give
how
me
we're
your
trying to
mama.
You want to hold it? Shh. Do you think it'll sink or float?
Float.
Sink? Layla, what do you think?
Not right.
Float?
It floated.
It floated.
A real scientist says I
Stop.
hypothesis.
Now let's see if this one.
That fork, do you think it'll sink or float? It floated, and the other one sunk, right?
Well, honestly, this can float.
The giraffe, do
Yeah.
you think it'll float?
Yeah.
Try it.
Put that back in.
No,
Then the pig floated.
let's do.
How much are there? How much is
A
there?
tail.
5? That's 5 more?
Mom, the water turned dark.
That's just a shadow. How about the connects? Do we think they'll sink or float?
Float.
Put it in. I got my shirt.
That's okay.
Float one.
I got my pants.
Don't splash the water.
I got my pants.
You got your pants wet? How about this hair bow? Do we think it'll sink or float? It sunk. It sunk.
Mom, now let's try these.
How about this round block?
Let's try. It sank.
It floated.